The FA Cup is a staple of the beautiful game. It is widely agreed across the footballing world that the FA Cup possesses a magic like no other tournament. As the oldest national football cup competition in the world, it is steeped in a rich and fascinating history, and its foundation helped to shape football as we know it. This is a story of the early years of the FA Cup. The Football Association was founded in 1863. In the early years of football, members of the FA would only play friendly matches, and these were often between sides located near each other, with no significant prizes on offer for the winners. In 1971, Charles Alcock, the secretary of the FA, put forth the idea of a national knockout competition, stating that it is desirable that a Challenge Cup should be established in connection with the association, for which all clubs belonging to the association should be invited to compete. His idea for the tournament was based on sudden death football competitions Alcock had been involved with at Harrow. In a meeting of the FA committee, he spoke about his experiences of such tournaments in Harrow, and how with the building of railways across the country, it was now possible to get teams to play games across the land. The members of the FA liked Alcock's idea, and the FA Cup was born. The tournament was an alien concept to the teams who were still growing, and of the invites sent to the 50 members of the FA, only 15 teams responded. 3 more sides would withdraw before the tournament began, and only a dozen teams would partake in the first edition of the tournament. 4 games would take place on the 11th of November 1871, the first ever FA Cup fixtures to be played. Only 13 games would be played across the tournament, with a number of byes being granted along the way, as clubs got used to the new footballing world. The maiden FA Cup final would be played on the 16th of March 1872 at the Oval, between Wanderers and Royal Engineers. A Wanderers side captained by Charles Alcock became the first ever team to win the FA Cup. It was fitting that the man who essentially invented the FA Cup would be the first ever captain to lead his side to glory in the tournament. The Cup was presented at the Wanderers' annual dinner the next month, with the FA presenting each player with a silk badge to commemorate the victory, and the club presenting each of their players with winners' medals. Wanderers, as FA Cup winners, would receive a bye into next season's final, the only time this would ever happen in the competition. They would retain the trophy, with an Arthur Kinnaird goal opening the scoring in a 2-0 win. It was Kinnaird's first cup tie, leading Wanderers out as captain. It was the start of a love affair with the competition for Kinnaird, who would go on to win the tournament 5 times in total, reaching 9 finals, and he would later serve as president of the FA for 33 years. Oxford University would win their first title in 1873, followed by Royal Engineers the next year. The 1876 final was the first to go to a replay, with Wanderers defeating Old Etonians 3-0 to seal their 3rd FA Cup. They would go on to win the next 2 finals, to make it 3 in a row. The early years of the Cup were dominated by teams formed of public school graduates from the south. It was easy for these clubs to fulfil their fixtures, as they could afford the expenses required to partake. Many teams from the north were formed up of factory workers, who could only afford to take so much time off work to be involved with fixtures that they wouldn't get paid for. Blackburn Rovers would reach the final in 1882, a major landmark for northern teams, but they would lose to Old Carthusians. It was Arthur Kinnaird's 5th FA Cup win, and he celebrated by performing a handstand. Blackburn Rovers, however, were also founded by grammar school graduates. Meanwhile, Blackburn Olympic had received the backing of a local businessman. A team formed of local mill and factory workers, they were not expected to go far in the tournament. Blackburn Olympic entered the tournament in the early rounds, finding their way to the quarter-finals with routine wins. They were drawn at home in the quarter-finals and would host Welsh outfit Rwybon Druids. A crowd of 8,000 formed to watch the fixture. Blackburn Olympic came out as 4-1 winners, advancing to the semi-finals. People were impressed with the composure of Blackburn Olympic, and they had also based their game around combination play, focusing on passing to feet, rather than the Route 1 long ball play deployed by the public school sides. Blackburn Olympic's player coach, Jack Hunter, ensured his players were fighting fit for the semi-finals. Hunter had been England captain before, and took his players for a week in Blackpool to prepare for the semi-final. monitoring their diets and ensuring no beer was consumed. It works like a charm. Blackburn Olympic would reach the final with a 4-0 win over Old Carthusians. They would face Old Etonians for a chance to win the trophy. Blackburn Olympic would travel to London to play at the Kennington Oval for the trophy. An 8,000 strong crowd filled the Oval, with the vast majority cheering on the public school side. Old Etonians would take the lead, but as the game wore on, Olympic's stronger levels of fitness prevailed. They would equalise and send the game into extra time, where a goal from James Costley secured them the FA Cup. It was a huge watershed moment for football. The first ever Northern team had won the Cup against all the odds, and the elitist domination of the FA Cup was no more. Olympic travelled home as heroes, but they would not be around for long. Many players went across the road to join Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers had allayed a great deal of suspicion with their actions. Players were still forbidden from being paid for playing football, but again, as many of the Northern players were involved with industrial work, there was only so much they could miss. Scottish player Fergus Souter had stopped his stonemason work upon joining Darwin, with many suspecting he was receiving payments under the table. He would later join Darwin's rivals Blackburn Rovers in 1880, and it is thought Rovers offered him wages Darwin could not. Many teams expressed their anger at professionalism still not being in place. In 1884, Preston North End knocked London-based Upton Park out of the Cup. Upton Park wrote to the FA and complained about paid players in the Preston ranks. Many other clubs joined Preston in their anger, and in the end, more than 30 clubs threatened to make their own football association. Eventually, the FA relented, and in July 1885, professionalism in English football was introduced. The move signalled a massive change for football, with Fergus Souter's Blackburn Rovers winning 3 FA Cups in a row from 1884 to 1886. Several teams were now getting their names on the trophy for the first time, with Aston Villa, West Brom and Preston North End all doing so. The Football League was founded in 1888, but the FA Cup was still the showpiece event of the English football calendar. The original FA Cup trophy was stolen in 1885, after being displayed in a shop window in Birmingham following Aston Villa's victory. The trophy was swiftly replaced. The tournament continued to grow in popularity, not just because it was the first ever football tournament, but because of the stories it produced. The idea of the magic of the FA Cup had truly come to life, with 2nd Division Notts County beating 1st Division Bolton Wanderers in the 1894 final, and Tottenham Hotspur won the 1901 edition despite being a non-league team. Spurs beat Sheffield United after a replay, and the first fixture had drawn over 100,000 spectators to the Crystal Palace Sports Centre. Great finals continued to follow, with Bury defeating Derby 6-0 in the 1903 final. Clubs continued to get their hands on the trophy for the first time, including the likes of Wolves, Everton, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday and Manchester United. The trophy was again changed in 1911. Arthur Kinnaird, due to his services to football, was presented with the FA Cup trophy to keep. Having won it 5 times, he now had the trophy for life. The FA Cup trophy as we know it today was made in time for the 1911 final by Bradford Jewellers Fattorini. Bradford City would be the first team to win the new FA Cup. The FA Cup briefly continued after the outbreak of World War I, with the 1915 final between Sheffield United and Chelsea resulting in a 3-0 victory for the Blades. The game was known as the Khaki Cup final, due to the amount of uniformed soldiers in attendance. The cup was continued at first, in order to provide relief for workers and soldiers, but eventually, due to opposition, the tournament was suspended afterwards, to allow efforts to be focused on the war. The FA Cup would return in 1920, and Aston Villa would be the first side to win it after normal service was resumed. It was the 6th time Aston Villa manager George Ramsay had won the cup, a record that would stand until Arsene Wenger won his 7th FA Cup in 2017. The love of Cup final day hadn't gone away, and in fact was so strong that a new stadium had to be built to host the final. An arena was built in London over the course of 300 days for the FA Cup final between West Ham and Bolton, and the stadium would come to be known as Wembley. The FA decided to not ticket the game, grossly underestimating the amount of spectators who would turn up. Hordes of fans turned up to see the biggest match in the footballing calendar at a brand new stadium, a stadium that was only completed 3 days before the final. It is estimated that between 240,000 and 300,000 fans were in the stadium. Understandably, many spilled onto the pitch, and there were severe doubts about the game going ahead. That was until an iconic moment would take place. Amongst the crowds, police officer George Scory rode out on his white horse Billy. Scory and Billy the horse helped usher the fans to the side of the pitch, and miraculously, the game went ahead, only 45 minutes behind schedule. Bolton would win 2-0, and the game would be forever known as the White Horse Final. The 1927 final was a significant occurrence. Cardiff City had reached their second final, losing to Sheffield United 2 years before. They were looking to become the first ever Welsh team to win the FA Cup. Cardiff vs Arsenal was the first ever FA Cup final to be broadcast on live radio, and 15,000 fans came to Cardiff's Cathays Park to listen. In the build-up to the game, the secretary of the FA, Sir Frederick Wall, inquired at Buckingham Palace what song King George V would like to hear before the game. The King requested "Abide With Me" as it was the favourite hymn of his wife, Queen Mary. Before the game, Abide With Me was played by the orchestra in front of 90,000 fans. Cardiff would win 1-0 thanks to a goal from Hugh Ferguson. Thanks to this game, the FA Cup continued to be broadcast live on radio and later on television, and Abide With Me has since been played at every FA Cup final since. The FA Cup was already the biggest day in the English sporting calendar, and now fans across the country could tune in and enjoy, rather than find out the result from the newspaper. Many feel that the FA Cup's importance has waned over years, but when one looks into it, this simply isn't true. The tournament has still produced magnificent moments in recent years, such as Tielemans' sensational strike finally winning Leicester their first FA Cup, Wigan winning the Cup against all the odds in 2013, and Arsenal's incredible comeback from 2 goals down to win 3-2 against Hull City. The magic of the FA Cup will never truly be lost, whatever happens. The FA Cup isn't just about who wins the final, it's about teams from the lower leagues facing the best sides in the country, aiming for an upset. It's about going on an incredible run against the odds as you hope for glory at the end of it. The FA Cup has helped shape football. It took football from friendlies that were essentially kickabouts to an institution full of professional sides that helped form communities, uniting people together in a common goal. It allowed people from the working class to have a moment of glory and show that football is for everyone. The FA Cup is magical. There is no tournament in football quite like it. In the time that it would take to tell all the magnificent stories the FA Cup has produced, the tournament in the meantime would give us many more to sit back and enjoy.